In this last decade, Southeast Asia has been characterized by its upward trajectory of rapid growth, rapid expansion, and development. Billions of investments from foreign countries have poured into the Southeast Asian economies, and its increasing export growth as well as strong tourism sector certainly bodes well for the Southeast Asian economies. In today's video, I'd especially like to highlight three particular Southeast Asian countries: Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand, along with my favorite topic, retirement. Just to share a little backstory about this channel, my wife Fran and I are early retirees since 2020, and we have been traveling heavily to these Southeast Asian countries in the last 3 years, and I can share with you that the action has truly shifted into this part of the world. And definitely you want to check out our previous videos where we covered extensively on the cost breakdown, on food, entertainment, the various costs of living, and whether these places, the towns, the cities, the seaside resorts, whether they are places for you to consider as retirement destinations, and many more. So in today's video, I'll especially like to zoom in to the visa requirements for retirement for Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia, as well as show you a little hack towards the end how you can go around if you cannot qualify for retirement visa. So stay tuned to find out. Before that, do hit the like button, subscribe to join this channel, and let's go. Before we dive into the comparisons between these three countries' retirement visa, let's do a quick recap. For Malaysia, the three-tier category of MM2H Malaysia, my second home, as recent as June 2024, just came out, and it's based on three categories, which is the platinum, gold, and silver tier of varying requirements. Don't worry, I'll cover that based on the comparison later. And don't forget, Malaysia has a second visa called the Sarawak Malaysia, my second home, with different requirements. We do have a video on that as well, but for today, we are not going to bring that in case you get confused. Now, for Thailand, they have very interesting privileged membership packages. It used to be known as the Thai Elite Visa. Now it's called the Privilege Card. Also various categories, the Gold, Platinum, Diamond, and Reserve, which is probably for the high net worth people, of varying requirements as well. And Indonesia has their own retirement visa on this site that I covered previously on our cost of living for Jakarta video, where they share with you what's the requirements needed for Indonesian retirement for somebody above 60, and this is as recent as 22nd August 2023. So all three retirement visas are pretty updated. So now let's dive into the comparison between them. I've plotted a comparison table for the Malaysia MM2H, the Thai Elite Visa, as well as the Indonesia's retirement KITAS. And here are the qualifications. High-level comparison between the retirement visas. These are not the final details, but what I've highlighted are the important criteria, especially for comparison. And the visa requirements, just to note, they change over time. For example, the Malaysia MM2H, it keeps changing requirements. So whatever that you are listening today or watching today is actually not hard fixed. Do note that. And of course, do your own due diligence when you are serious about moving over to that country to get that, to qualify for the visa requirements. And of course, please make sure you confirm the requirements with the authorized agents for each respective country. Now, for the three countries, let's start with fees for the visa. And for Malaysia MM2H, you have three categories: the silver tier, the gold tier, and platinum. It starts with 1,000 ringgit for silver, gold 3,000 ringgit, and 200k ringgit for platinum, which you will note that is actually for the high income earners, the high net worth people. Just for some measurements, 3,000 ringgit is roughly around $700 US. Now for Thai Elite Visa, it is actually a lot more expensive: 900,000 baht for gold, 1.5 million baht for platinum, and 2.5 million baht for diamond. Let's say for platinum at 1.5 million baht, that's roughly around $44,000 US to qualify for that visa, for that Thai Elite Visa. For Indonesia, it is 14 million rupiah for the 5-year retirement KITAS, and that's roughly around $900 US. Later, you will see why the Thai Elite Visa is structured this way, okay, when we go down the comparison table. So don't be alarmed. Now, past validity, that means how long the validity of the visa will allow you to stay in that country. For Malaysia MM2H, silver is 5 years, gold is 10, and platinum is 20 years. For Thai Elite Visa, gold is 5 years, platinum is 10 years, and diamond is 15 years. We will skip the reserve one for here because that's for very high net worth individuals. And retirement KITAS, which is pretty straightforward, about, or rather 5 years. Age eligibility, as far as what I can find based on the internet, is 25 years for Malaysia MM2H. You might want to verify that. For the other two, For Thailand, it's no age eligibility. Again, it's structured differently. And for the Indonesian retirement visa, this is actually a very clean retirement visa above 60 years old. Now, the number of days to stay in the country per year, only Malaysia has that requirement. It requires you to stay cumulative. That means it doesn't need to be consecutive, but when you combine, you accumulate the number of days you stay in one calendar year, it needs to be 90 days for MM2H for you to retain your visa. For Thai, or rather Thailand and Indonesia, there is none of that requirement required. Now, let's look at a very crucial element to qualify for the retirement visas in these three countries. These are the financial requirements, starting with fixed deposit. For Malaysia, MM2H, note the denominations are in US dollars, so it's 150,000 US dollars for fixed deposit for silver tier, $500,000 for gold, and 1 million US dollars for platinum. Note that you can use 50% of this fixed deposit for educational and for property purchase, which I'll share later for Malaysia MM2H. For Thai Elite Visa, there's none, no such requirement. For Indonesia retirement kitas, you need to show 50,000 US dollars fixed deposit in an Indonesian bank. For offshore income, the next category, there's none for Malaysia MM2H, none for Thai Elite Visa. There's 3,000 US dollars per month that you need to show proof of income or retirement funds or pension for Indonesia retirement kitas, or 36,000 US dollars per year. You need to show that to qualify for the visa. And for properties, well, only Malaysia requires you to buy a property, which they have three tiering for silver, gold, and platinum based on different values: 600,000 ringgit, 1 million gold category, and 2 million ringgit for platinum. None for Thai and Indonesia. Let's take a look at some of the more unique requirements for these three countries. For Malaysia MM2H, you are only allowed to bring a maid if you are in the platinum tier, and they allow foreign maids as well, especially if you have a family maid. This is for the upper middle and the higher net worth people. For Thai Elite Visa, there's none of that. For Indonesia, it's mandated for you to hire a domestic helper as part of the requirements for the visa. Now, in terms of eligibility to work, only the platinum tier is allowed for Malaysia MM2H, Thai Elite Visa no, Indonesia Visa no, and some other unique requirements. Earlier on, you note that MM2H for Malaysia, you need to buy a property. That's something you need to commit, and if you do sell it, you're only allowed to sell after 10 years, of which you need to buy another property of a higher value, and that's something important if you want to commit long-term to Malaysia. For Thai Elite Visa, there's none, no other further requirements, and for Indonesia, as I mentioned earlier, you need to hire a local helper. In my opinion, all three countries have their own unique flavor. Of course, like Malaysia, you need to buy property and you do have a higher fixed deposit amount compared to Indonesia, which is lesser. For Thailand, it's actually very straightforward. You have to pay, of course, the highest fee among them, but it's basically very transactional. You know what you're going to get. Whereas for Malaysia, Indonesia, maybe it changes over time. So all three have their own pros and cons. First of all, you need to know that you want to stay in that country first, right? If that country doesn't even appeal to you, then it doesn't make sense at all. For Fran and I, one of the things that we love to do is to explore all the different retirement destinations. So here's a suggestion for you. Why not try all three countries, right? Each country is so big. There's so many states, towns, cities, seaside places for you to visit. You can always do 5 years here, 5 years there, 10 years there. Why not, right? The world's your oyster. Now, for some of you who may find difficulty meeting the financial requirements especially, here's a hack for you, or here's something for you. Like for myself and Fran, we cannot qualify in terms of age like Indonesia. There's something else you can do as well. Introducing the digital nomad hack. Yes, that's right. There's a way to go around visa requirements, especially for people like us who are early retirees that cannot qualify for the retirement age like Indonesia that requires you to be above 60. And that's one of the key reasons why Fran and I started our YouTube channel as well, to become content creators and have our online educational business, because we know that the trend around the world is more and more countries are offering such visas for digital nomads and remote workers. And for us to qualify to stay in that country, to experience that beautiful life, this is something that gives us that requirement, or rather allows us to fit that requirement. Starting with Malaysia, called the D-Rantau visa, which is for foreigner digital nomads, and the requirements isn't that difficult. There are different types for tech and non-tech people, which of different kind of professions, and ultimately they are only asking for around 24,000 US dollars for if you are a digital nomad or if you are non-tech talent or professional, it's only 60,000 US dollars per year. That's quite easy to meet actually. For Indonesia, they have their own as well. It's called the E335G program, started in 1st April 2024. The financial requirements are a little higher at 60,000 US dollars per year, and you need to show some other proof of funds. Otherwise, the cost isn't that expensive. So you can stay in Bali and be a digital nomad as well. And of course, Thailand is no slouch either, right? Thailand has their own called Destination Thailand Visa, DTV, which requirements are not that difficult, and they have some very interesting ones. They have educational visas called the Muay Thai or Thai Cuisine Visa, for example, and that allows you to practice Muay Thai and use that as a reason to stay in Thailand to qualify for visa requirements. So Thai DTV visa is their digital nomad version, and all three countries offer you this. That is actually showing a growing trend around the world. So I suggest you get to doing something that is digitally related, that allows you to be remote and allows you to qualify for all these visas to stay in all these beautiful countries. I hope this video has given you many ideas to think for your retirement. And one of the things that Fran and I love to share, the messages in many of our videos, is this: stay open in where you want to retire and how your retirement is going to look like, because the world's your oyster. There's so many exciting places to go and visit, to go and experience. So why not, right? Go and try the different venues for yourself, right? This is me, John, one half of the Corporate Breakout Couple, signing off. Do hit the like button, subscribe to join our channel, and share this video with all your friends. See you in the next video.